Hey, it's the champ Antonio Tarver. You're listening to Tarver's Take, the most informative take in boxing. Just remember where you heard it first. Man, we had an unbelievable night of boxing Saturday night, man. Tank Davis and Lamont Roach. I want to just jump right into the main event, man. In the buildup of the fight, man, I personally thought that, Tank would be challenged. I did think that Roach would bring a good fight because of the familiarity. They really knew each other coming up. You know what I mean? And Roach being a champion, but I thought that loss, that he had early in his career, I thought that really separated the two fighters. You know what I mean? But for whatever reason, Lamont Roach got the camp, man, and he devised a perfect, you feel me, game plan for Tank. I don't know if that, was from his team or it's just that he was really motivated to do something great, you know what I'm saying, Saturday night. And it showed, but Tank Davis being the champion that he is, he fought. He fought back. He was competitive, you know what I mean? But the pressure, I guess, and just, with Roach not really giving in. And it seems like even when Tank, may have won a round or two, it seemed as if, he didn't win it by much. He never really, took off or, showed any separation in that fight. And I think that was a good strategy for Roach. Early on in the round, it was definitely a fill out process, but Roach stayed disciplined, you know what I mean, with behind his jab, you know what I mean? And I think that one thing they worked on that really showed up in that fight is that he was not relying on one punch. You feel me? He wasn't loading up, man. He kept his punches in good rhythm and good flow. And I think that's always a good, catalyst for a solid boxer. You feel me? A guy that really, can be dangerous when you have that type of conditioning to do that throughout the fight. Even when he got rocked, and when Tank did land some of those, big one shots that he was doing, Roach never seemed to be hurt or unnerved by it. So, he was very, schooled, so to speak, on Gervonta Davis, man. And it's like, because, and I thought, early on in Gervonta career and even as of late, he's been noted to get behind in fights. You feel me? Even though he has that power, that equalizer to really, negate these guys, you feel me, from coming in and taking the kind of the necessary risk that it takes to get the job done. He would usually time them, run them into it, and find them. And I don't know if that was because they're inexperienced or, you feel me, just not having, you feel me, the tools to really, compete with Gervonta. But that wasn't the case in the amateurs. Even though Gervonta did win twice, they still competed. You feel me? And so I think that was really a feather in Roach hat. He really understood the game plan, you feel me? Or the assignment. He really understood the assignment, but they battled, man, early on. You really didn't. I thought right there at the eighth, the fight, you feel me, was even. To be honest, I didn't know who fight it was. Roach was doing very, very well, but it wasn't until, that ninth round that, this fight really went in a whole nother direction. You know what I'm saying? And in that ninth round, man, it was what I would call first time in the history of boxing. First time we had an unofficial timeout. You feel me? and the judge, the referee did what he was supposed to do. He started counting. Steve Willis started counting, but for whatever reason, he didn't finish the count. You feel me? And, only the people ringside or the officials really know what happened in that instance. But when Gervonta Davis went down, I don't know if it was, they saying it was some a liquid or something in his hair or grease. Then they said his braid might have scratched his eyelid or eye or somewhat. That could be troublesome. But when I went back and they slow-moed it, when they slow-moed it, um, it looked like Roach threw something out there that almost it barely tapped, but you saw Gervonta react to it, and then he immediately rubbed it, and then he went down. I don't know what actually happened. Gervonta say he had some type of liquid running, grease or something from his hair running into his eyes. But when he went down, Steve Willis started counting. When he got to two, now he ain't gonna start counting to the ringside official start the count with them. So that's the first thing he do. So if the ringside official is starting to count, Steve Willis starts to count. Why he stopped counting, I don't know. From looking at the film, Tank went to a knee and looked directly to his corner. And another thing, by the rules, if you turn your back while in action, that gives the ref, especially after coming down up from a knee, that could be an indication of you submitting or you quitting or you turn and you're in action. It was no break or anything. That's where I had an issue. Like, that's a known fact to anybody that know the rules to boxing. Now, was that done maliciously or something like that? I don't think so. I don't think so. But when you in the heat of the battle, man, you got to bring your game every time. They expect that from the fighters, and they expect that from the referees as well. You know what I mean? And I'm not throwing him under the bus or anything like that. I just understand that sometimes, in the heat of the moment, with everything, being considered, it could be challenging to make the right call every time. That's why we have a team of officials around the table. And those officials in a time like this got to start being more prevalent in these decision makings, because in hindsight, that could have been corrected, at that time. That official down there could have continued to count. The referee would have had to pick it up. And that's following by the rules. You know what I mean? And now hindsight, we know that if, you know what I'm saying, that knee would have been counted as a knockdown, that would have overturned the outcome would have been different. You know what I mean? And we didn't know that then, but as the fight got going, you know what I'm saying? Tank got a little bit more aggressive because I think from his corner, and we'll talk a little bit about that, I made a statement live, you know what I mean? I wasn't really, at the moment, I was a little bit excited because I saw what was, about to happen. The fight was it looked as if the fight was kind of getting away from Gervonta down the stretch. And, and pressure bust steel pipes. We know that, you know what I mean? And, it seemed as if there was some, little pressure between the corners and between the rounds, you know what I mean? There's a lot of voices in there. And, so I don't know if that deterred Tank Davis or not. You know what I mean? That's for him, to understand. But, I thought personally, it's just too many voices in the corner to have some type of organization, and I think that could have, unnerved a lot of those guys. It was just a lot going on, you know what I mean? But down the stretch after that situation, man, it looked as if Lamont got a lot more confident, as well as, and even Tank felt that. Lamont was flowing so good, man. He started really, feeling it. You know what I mean? He was landing some good counter shots. Even every punch, it seems as like Gervonta land, Roach will come right back and counter. Man, that's how you want to do it. You got it. My trainer used to tell me, you got to start and you got to finish. Finish what they start, you feel me, and finish what you start. That's a good way to be always out front. But as from the naked eye, it looked as if, Roach was, winning the championship rounds. And I, at the end of the day, I was real nervous for the decision. I was. I thought, when I heard Tank Davis first, I say, whoa, they gave it to Roach. I thought he probably won a split decision, but not counting that knockdown and then hearing the majority draw. You know what I mean? I can't say the judges wasn't, outside of that knockdown, it straightens out everything. We're not even talking about any controversy right now. You understand me? So I think they missed the call right there. You know what I mean? They missed the call right there, and it cost Lamont Roach Jr. opportunity of a lifetime, and that's to be celebrating as the new lightweight champion in a humongous upset, 1,600 to 1. You feel me? Man, that was major, bro. And I don't. That just shows you that really no one really thought that Roach had a real shot at this. Only two people, him and Shakur Stevenson. You feel me? They knew something, man. But now, where do they go next? They talking about a rematch. I think right now, it's damage control. I think if Tank want to go on and continue to quote unquote be the face of boxing, even be considered and talked about as a pound for pound type fighter, he got unfinished business with Lamont Roach Jr., bro. You know what I mean? I don't know how they could move around that, but this is I would think a wake-up call for Gervonta Davis to truly, as he's been saying, to find himself as a fighter. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta, do what you have to do and to reset yourself, recalibrate. You feel me? And then find that Tank, that he want everyone to, he want everyone to know that he is. You know what I mean? And I think the boxing world is waiting for that. And I think this could be a moment where, he could grow and build and become a bigger star in the rematch by, dethroning Lamont Roach and showing everyone that it was just an off night. Or, it gives Lamont Roach an opportunity to solidify himself. And that's what we live and we fight for. So I think this is a perfect time for Tank Davis to really look inside himself and to figure out what type of legend and champion he want to be remembered as. And I think his next move gonna be his best move. You know what I mean? And we're gonna see a whole lot more from Gervonta Davis, man. But yeah, in that lightweight division now, with we don't know if Lamont Roach Jr. puts his name there, or he goes back and defend his title. You know what I'm saying? So he got options. But man, Lamont Roach with a lot of those lightweight right now would be amazing, bro. You know what I mean? Just think about it. You know what I mean? Him and Keyshawn Davis, him and Shakur Stevenson. You feel me? Him and my boy Abdullah Mason. And man, all these guys, even Lomo, with Lamont Roach Jr. could be huge right now because he just showed us what he can do, with the face of boxing and some considered pound for pound type talent. So Lamont Roach, welcome to the big leagues, my guy. You know what I mean? And we're gonna be looking forward to seeing what he do next. I mean, there you have it, man. You've been listening to Tarvis Take, the most informative take in boxing. Just remember where you heard it first. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Tarvis Take, man. Until the next time, stay tapped in, and I'll talk to you then.